Here we go. Here we go. There we go. Here we are. Just always want to make sure that it's on. Now we're looking at the camera, not at the screen. Very cool. Hey, it is February 25th of 2022. It is a Friday. Well, the weather was a little sloppy this morning. And yesterday, because we had ice and stuff like that. So the actual weather forecast was spot on. Spot on. It's always nice when they get it right. So thank you to my number one meteorologist out there. You know who you are. You know who you are. So, yesterday we were talking about, being delayed when things don't work out right. What happens, gives you a chance to rethink things. Boy, today was that day. Turns out this ice storm this morning, and it wasn't even really a storm, but it was enough. Yeah, it was enough. Well, it kept me off the road this morning. That was that was in the cards from yesterday. But what happened also is that we have some of the wires that are above ground. Well, one of them snapped someplace. So we were told by our neighbor. Thank you, neighbor, for filling us in on that little detail. But we got the message over the phone that we were going to lose power till something around 2 o'clock or so. So gave us a chance to think. Now, one of the things I had thought of just prior to coming on over here is the difference between knowing that you're going to be leaving early for the day and being able to be time efficient, as opposed to the other way around, thinking that, hey, you got the day, nice day, you're not going anywhere outside, the weather's a little crappy, and next thing you know, and you got time to prepare, time to do, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose electricity. Boy, how dependent have we become on electricity? It's unbelievable. Everything from having a cup of coffee, heating up some food, and the gosh darn internet that we've become so unbelievably dependent on. Next thing you know, well, we're set back quite a bit with not having electricity. So there's a lot of things we need to be grateful for. A lot of other challenges that are out there, but having that electricity, man, that is definitely something so unbelievably important to us. Not really the point of today's conversation. The point is, I just want to make sure I get the comments coming up here. But the point is the fact that it gave me, and it should give you a time to think. So it forced me to set aside, well, not to set aside time, but to have time doing something that I wouldn't normally do. Yeah, it's good. You go through your work, you get everything done. Afternoon, Doug. You get everything done, and then you could kick back, watch some videos, YouTube, whatever, delete emails and stuff like that. That's almost you want to know something? I've come to realize that's a kind of a waste of time. Deleting emails needs to happen. It has to happen quicker. I can spend so much time doing that, kind of looking at them, kind of watching YouTube or something else, and next thing you know, 2 hours have passed, and you didn't really get as much done as you thought. So all of a sudden, with no electricity, the internet was out, right? Got some emails over the phone, that kind of thing, but for the most part, what I would normally do on the internet was out. Also have a certain amount of power in my phone. Didn't want to use it up just deleting emails. Wound up doing something that was totally different, like actually straightening up pieces of paper, getting some files done that I've been looking at now for months, and get that stuff done. So here's the thing, and here's the big point of this whole thing. I was forced to turn off the computer and then accomplish something. What would you do if you were forced, if you just really, truly turned out the lights, set yourself back from contacting the outside world? Boy, that sounds dramatic. But contacting the outside community, not by phone, not by email, not by video, not by video, not sitting there on the computer, kind of wasting time away and stuff like that. Not just researching something for the sake of it, but actually getting yourself really cleaned up together, going through some old files. Boy, I found some stuff that goes way, way, way back. Actually, it was the first seminar I ever did was the thing I ran across. 2003. You can thank my mother-in-law for this comment. But I found that seminar from 2003. She was kind enough to attend the thing. She was also kind enough to give me feedback afterwards. Hey, sometimes you can rely on relatives to give you feedback. And her comment was, Brian, you didn't talk enough. Well, she was right. And I don't mean like this right. What I did is I just introduced the speaker and got out of the way. Then all of a sudden, what happened there is that the speaker became the expert in the industry. I was not. I was just a conduit. That was not the case. I really should have been the expert in the industry, bringing up somebody that could speak to something specific within that industry. Goes into the world of podcasting too if you're a host, right? But that was a big time learning experience. So by not having the power on, not having electricity, not spending time going through emails and doing all the rest of that stuff, wound up reminding me of something that was super important to always keep in mind. Always keep in mind when you're hosting something, when you're interviewing somebody, is what is your role? What is your role? What are you really destined to do? What are you really looking to portray yourself as? That was really important. Even last night was at a Toastmaster meeting. I gave a longer speech than normal in Toastmasters. Most of them are 5 to 7 minutes. This one was 18 to 22 minutes. Spoke for roughly 19 minutes, on that one. But it was really important, and it came up in that when I got the feedback from it, was like, who is the audience supposed to be? I should have told them in advance who the audience was supposed to be. But that speech was really designed for anybody who's going through struggles and had to learn from people that are also going through different struggles. But then I started using the word challenges and then speed bumps that you're going through. So I got some good feedback on that about being much, much more clearer as to what it was. So ironically, reviewing or going through the paperwork this morning reminded me of the importance to speak, which in turn reminded me, brought back the memory of last night, because I didn't have any other distractions, about what I did last night and what I should improve upon from last night, which also ties into what we're doing here with this and how we'll talk about different things and how to stay focused on different topics and things like that. All of this, it's amazing. All of this was because didn't have the lights come on, and that was where that one went. Now the phone rings again. As that goes. Let's hang on to this. We'll come back and look to that one a little bit. But all because the lights didn't come out. Well, now the lights are on, sun's coming out too. That's always a pleasant thing, and makes the whole thing that much clearer as to where it is you are, or where it is that I am, where it is we're going. So here, for you, and I got to go a little bit quicker here today because I got other things I got to get to, and it is definitely late in the day, and so whatever, got a little late in the day, so we're going to make this one a little bit shorter, but maybe that'll be tomorrow's lesson. Maybe we should make these things a little bit shorter. Maybe bring them down to that 18-minute mark on everything, not the 30 minutes. Save the 30 minutes when we have a guest. 18 without a guest. Might be a thought, as that goes. But here's the message of the day. And we're going to be straightforward with this one. Here's the message of the day. How do you spend your time? Now, there are people that could talk about that, from time wasting and how to be more efficient and all the rest of that stuff. Okay, all well and good. Should you start your day off positive? Yeah, absolutely. You should get up in the morning. You do your, positive thoughts, prayer, positive affirmations, whatever. Maybe the other way of doing it is have your daily goals set in front of you that were written out the night before. Boom. This way you turn on the computer, or whatever your activity is, whether it's, making a healthy drink in the morning, healthy breakfast, exercise, whatever, doing that whole thing. But here's the thing to really make things clear. Really make things clear. And today was really a great reminder of that. And that is, you want to be more efficient in life? You want to be more efficient with everything you're doing? Set time aside for you. For you. No distractions. No YouTube playing in the background. Maybe no music playing in the background. No, oh, I got to call somebody. No, nothing. Just set aside time for yourself and make it work that way. I know on your efficiency quotient thing, efficiency ideas, there was a gentleman that told me, when I was cold calling, oh, you should set aside a power block time. Just set aside an hour for it, and that's it. Close the door. Don't take any other phone calls. Turn off the computer. Just have your phone list in front of you, and then make those phone calls. Nothing else. None of that. Well, that's a good use of time for the hour, whatever it might be. And this way you don't go over. You're just doing that one thing at a time. But put yourself in that category. Set aside a time for you each and every day, whatever is most important for you in that hour. And perhaps the first time you do it should just be setting aside an hour for you to go figure out what is most important for you to do. Going back to that list, big believer in these lists, right? Set aside your timer. 3-minute timer is my favorite thing, just in 3 minutes. This way it doesn't give you a chance to think. But set aside, you got your hour, that's yours. Now you sit down, get yourself set, get your mind clear, get yourself all ready to go. Get that timer out, hit that timer, 3 minutes, and then go and write. What is most important for you to do? Not for you to get somebody else to do, but for you to do. All those little side projects. Maybe they're very, very important for you for business. Maybe they're very, very important for you as you interact with your family. Maybe it's very, very important for you to do as you interact with your nonprofit volunteer work. Maybe it's just really, really important for you to do to get clutter out of your way. Whatever that is, set aside that time each and every day for that hour to be what you need to do for you. Be selfish about it. Be focused about it. Let it all be about you. Glad I was able to do that. For reasons that had nothing to do with me. Outside influence on that one. But you know what? I wound up getting an awful lot done within that hour. Had a real nice conversation with my wife. I had I'm not going to say a real good time doing this thing, but went through a whole lot of files, got a lot of that stuff organized, cleaned up. Got a lot more work to do with that one, but that's fine. Now I know within that effort that I wanted to clean up what really is important within that and what should just go back in the garage and just store it away. And some of the stuff, hopefully, I never need. Some of the other stuff, I want to make sure that I've got included in my current work and done that way. This way I could clear my mind out, clear the time out so we could focus on some new projects going forward. Stuff that's going to be probably more impactful, actually more impactful on a going forward basis than this stuff, but this had to be done. So it's always in the back of my mind to go and do. So clear it out. Set aside an hour for yourself. Really set aside an hour for yourself. Not just a kind of hour, not just a well kind of thing, an effort. Really, really set it aside. Close your door, turn off the lights, turn off the computer, unplug the darn computer, and make it work for you and make it work that way in that should happen. So that's where that goes. All right, remember 3-minute thing, 3-minute egg timer, 3-minute timer on your computer or on your phone, whatever. Write down, really truly write down what is absolutely most important to you for you, and then start implementing it. Take that time aside, set that time aside for yourself to make it work that way. Really important thing to do. So thank you, Ice Storm, for making that come to my mind, my top of mind, and that was definitely an obstacle that we advanced through, and it became an opportunity there. So that was cool. Hey, listen, before I go, Doug, want to mention, thank you, my friend. So that speech I gave last night in Toastmasters included you. So thank you. Learned a lot from you along the way. I really do appreciate that. This whole idea of what it's like to be in a wheelchair was the story told, but what it's like to really understand what other people go through. That's really the most important thing. And then having that ability to understand others, even though it's not directly you, that's where that one fell into over here. I think, great thing in there. So thank you so much. Really, I'm looking at it over the screen over there. But thank you so much for being a part of this thing so many times. All good. Really all good. You're a good man. Definitely appreciate that. And everybody else that listens in on this thing. And look, I am getting ready to push this thing, kind of forward. Uh, it, it's just a really important thing for me to do, also. And Karen, also, always a pleasure. The wife, that was the meaningful conversation I had with today. So that was all good. But really looking to push this thing forward. So, starting soon, really going to worry about subscribers and expanding this and getting it seen in different places. So, in advance, I'd like to thank you for your support as we continue on this path over here to make this thing work, because some of the long-term goals include doing this and doing this with guests and delivering different messages and things like that. And man, I've been talking about having guests on this thing for a long time. I think back in November or so, I started mentioning wanted to do that. Well, here we are going into March. Going into March. I haven't done that yet. So maybe at our 2-year anniversary, it was St. Patty's Day. It was roughly St. Patty's Day, and this whole COVID thing started. That started firing up the camera and doing things. So awful lot has changed since then. So, well, awful lot has changed. I don't want to continue to make things better. The only way, when one of the ways, the only way I know how to do it, and that's by communicating outward. So again, thank you, folks. Really appreciate it. Remember, set aside an hour for you. If you can't do it every day, do it every week, but set aside an hour for you. And within that hour, set aside that 3 minutes where you can figure out what is most important to you, not what is most important to anybody else, any business, any nonprofit, anything. What is most important to you? And right now, what's most important is speaking well, speaking often, living inspired, and hearing a little tomato music as we leave. Enjoy the music. That might change in the future too. All right, Maestro, time for a little tomato music.